these two racers. Kidofseph I'm not really familiar with, but it looks like he has a really good time on his side of a 128.22. While Essentia, if you don't know Essentia, she is one of the OGs of the Final Fantasy VI community, and she actually has a PB of 127.19. So we are going to have a very close race here, my friends. So I am going to be right back. Bear with me for 1 second, friends. Apologies for that. Just had to make sure our cropping was right and that we are looking really good. So if you guys have any problems with the stream, I'm not loud enough, you guys don't hear any sound, which I'm just noticing now that we're not hearing any sound, and or if any problems whatsoever, please just let me know. I will do my best to accommodate all our great viewers tonight. So, Essentia versus Kidofseph. So, for anyone who's new to this run, Final Fantasy VI to begin with, what we have here is we're having our good old tutorial fights, come in, fight, so on and so forth. But what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and run away with Wedge and Vix here. So Terra can gain all the experience. The more people that are in the fight at the end of the fight, the more the experience gets shared between them. But if there's only one person there, Terra will gain it all, and that's going to be used for some that's going to be used for some level manipulation here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and take some encounters later on. That way we can be at level 6 by the time our next party member joins us. So also with the running away of Vix and Wedge, every character has a hidden meter that they have to fill to be able to run away. So, yes, I did pause Essentia for a second to go ahead and get the timers linked up there. So, this is just for our restreaming purposes, but I will be on the ball here to make sure we know who finishes first, because syncing the streams is about as precise a science as we can get. But on to the Welk fight. So Welk is actually 2 parts here. So there is the shell and the head. We want to hit the head with 3 tech missiles. That way it will kill them. Thank you very much. So, but unfortunately, the shell has a little ability that will actually pull in the head so we can't target it. So what both runners are going to want to go ahead and do here is trigger a counter attack from the shell that will zap us and won't pull back the head. And it has to be done at a very specific time. It looks like Kidofseph got the quick kill very nicely. We'll see if Essentia can go ahead and get it. Looks like Essentia also got it. So we're off to a blazing start here. So back to the running mechanics. So they have a hidden meter that they need to fill to run away, and they also have to have full ATB. So while Terra is using Bioblast, the other 2 can run away, and Terra can get all the experience. Whew. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about the run, I am paying attention to chat. I will answer any questions you have within reason, and I will also be hitting you with the hot lore. Like right now, how Terra is running up to this Esper. Terra can use magic, and she's talking to this Esper, and this Esper's like, I know you, and she's like, I have this crown on my head. I'm hypnotized by the Empire right now, but that's Esper says, yeah, those two, they gotta go away. So, having a moment of epiphany. She's having an epiphany. Ooh. You guys will have to forgive me if I'm a little wound up right now. I was commenting the Natara versus Valdercorn race, and it was a very exciting race. So, so Terra, or as we will be naming her as T, will be going through some problems because she now has amnesia. She had the slave crown on her head. She doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, try talk was weird, but there's a lot of things in this game that are a little weird. So Nitsky, they actually renamed their characters because text scrolls onto the text boxes here. So the less characters the less characters a character has is will lead to faster text scrolling. So they can mash faster and they can get that times down. So here we are. Terra's going to go ahead and escape. The city of Narshe is after her because they don't want to upset the Empire. So what they're going to do is they're going to return the magic tech armor and they're going to return Terra to the Empire. But the guy there who's part of the resistance, he's not about that. So he's going to try and help Terra get away. So for our two runners here, what they're going to go ahead and do is they're going to take some encounters here. I believe both of them are on a step route, so we'll cover step routing in a second. But they want to take all the encounters up to the next cutscene and then take one additional encounter to go ahead and get Terra to level 6. So they want to get Terra to level 6 because every party member that joins is based off the levels of our party. So when when our next party member joins, we'll get the lock in a second here. He will join at level 7, and yes, back attacks and pincer attacks are currently random. We do not have a way of real-time manipulating it, so we're just kind of hoping for the best. So we're going to go ahead and take all these encounters here. And then the one extra encounter to go ahead and get Terra to level 6. Ooh. So Terra's going to go ahead and cast fire on these guys. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The Repo Men, unfortunately, have a random chance of counterattacking with Wrench, so for all my friends out there, if you cannot dodge a wrench, you cannot dodge a ball. It won't be unexpected if both of them score a sub 130 here. Like I said, that Kidofseph's PB is a 128 and Essentia's is a 127. The dodgeball rule is if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. So if you can't dodge a wrench, you can't dodge a ball. Rules of dodgeball. So a little cutscenes here, a little bit more lore. While Terra had the Hypno Crown on, she was doing some very terrible things. But she's currently unconscious and reliving some of this, remembering some of this. So we'll see, hopefully, who will be her knight in shining armor to save her. We are still good. So, here comes one of our favorite treasure hunters. If anyone argues that he is a treasure hunter, or if he is a thief, against the fact that he's a treasure hunter, if he is a thief, I will... There is so much litigation that I will throw against you. This man is a treasure hunter. 100%. I'm not quite sure, Blink. If anyone can confirm if the stream is a little soft for them, I will more than happily turn up the volume for everyone. Right, says Treasure Hunter in his intro. So Locke is an interesting guy. So he's gonna go in there. He was convinced by this resistance guy that lives in Narshe that he needs to go and save Terra. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can... Yeah, there's a hosting glitch. If you end up with hosting, you just need to go ahead and refresh. It's kind of weird that way. So I'm actually trying to monitor a lot of things at the same time. Let me go ahead and fix a couple of extra things here. That fan might be coming from somewhere else. So I do have the stream up on a separate device, and it looks to be good right now. So we'll be fixing up some stuff. Let me go ahead and take care of that slight fan noise. We'll go ahead and fix that up. And while that was happening, these guys are blazing through right now because they're already at the Marshall fight. So with Final Fantasy VI, there was an extra little mode where they said, yeah, we're going to give you 3 parties and you're going to defend this character, but we don't have time for that, so we're going to walk by these guys and we're going to fight the Marshal real quick. So, the Marshal, not too bad. We're going to want to fight with our Moogles here because good old Mog has a little trick to him where we can go ahead and remove his weapon and his shield and use it for another party member. This minigame was very, very interesting because you had to defend from certain directions and so on and so forth. But we're speedrunners. We don't have time for that. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to... Okay, both of them managed to get the pike off in time. Cuckoo taking a quick dirt nap, but that's quite alright. So we managed to save Terra, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So, both runners looking pretty good right now. So, she's going to wake up and she's going to join Locke, because Locke is taking some orders from our resistance, our rebel from Narshe, and saying that they should go down to the town of Figaro. Well, if Locke was a thief, he might be able to do it. But treasure hunters get in a lot of trouble. So, that's why. So, these guys being on step routes. The overworld is kind of a fun place because as you step along, you're going to go ahead and there's these tiles on the overworld that don't move your step route forward. So we're going to go ahead and try and hit a couple of those as we go along, and then we'll pick up some very specified encounters. Both these runners are on step route from what I can see. So what we're going to have is we're going to have 2 encounters on the way to the town of Figaro. They should be both leafers, single leafers, and everything would be great. So, it looks like they're both going to be able to get to... Ooh, an extra encounter. Oh, no, that's not an extra encounter. That is the correct encounter. Excuse me. So, it was just in a different place. So, they're both going to get to the town of Figaro. And just remember, guys, this castle is made of stone, and it's in the middle of the desert. It's a very important point for later on. But we're going to go ahead and meet the king. The king is going to help us out a little bit here. So, for us, the king's name is going to be Edgar. Edward's from a different game. Disregard my ridiculousness. All E's. So, we're going to go ahead and reduce his character down to 1, and then we're going to go ahead and just stick a pin in the idea that he is a master of machinery. So each character in this game actually has a special command that they use. So Terra can currently use magic. Our treasure hunter can use treasure hunt. We're going to call it treasure hunt. And Edgar is a master of machinery, and he's going to have tools, which is going to be a very important thing for later on once we get in the battle with him. His name is E for the sake of this run, but if you're in the Tara stream, his name is B, which is for good old BLT. If you know what I'm talking about, a little inside joke. Eduardo, no, name's Edgar. So, being that this is an RPG, we have to proceed the plot a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to the one person that we're going to need to talk to, and then we're going to move it forward, which we will be talking about our buddy Sabin, which is the younger brother of Edgar. A little bit of spoilers here, but with the speed that these guys are going at, I don't think I really have time to spoil anything, to be honest. So the younger brother, Sabin. Personally, my favorite. So we'll talk about him later on. But stick a pin in Sabin. He's a very important person for this run. So Essentia going ahead and getting past all of that, and she's going to go back and talk to the king. Listen, they just managed to misspell treasure hunt in the menu. It just wouldn't fit, so they put steal instead. If anyone wants to contest that, we will throw every law book at them possible. So we're going to go ahead and talk to Edgar one more time, and we have a surprise visitor in the name of Kefka. If you know who Kefka is, you know he has the most iconic antagonist laugh of all the Final Fantasies. If anyone wants to argue, you give me another character that has an iconic laugh that's an antagonist in Final Fantasy. So he's with the Empire, and the Empire is coming along and saying, "Yo, you got one of our officers here, don't you? Yeah, she did some minor stuff, and we just need to bring her back with us." So, it looks like Kidofseph got the good old face-off. So one of the fun things in this game that keeps us amused during all these cutscenes is if you hold A while you're talking to an NPC, you will talk to them at the very first available frame. So if you do that really quick in succession, you will get the guards to actually look at each other, and you got yourself a wonderful face-off. So, yeah, so we believe Kefka bought the story that, yeah, blah, 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 she's not here, we got too many women here. By the way, Edgar is a little bit of a lech. And, yeah, Kefka believed it, and everything should be fine from this point, right? No problem. So, we're going to talk to our good old treasure hunter buddy here. And we're going to go ahead and move on with the story. Everything should be fine. We're going to take a nap. We're going to go figure out what we need to do next in a second. Oh, wait. What's this? Middle of the night? Maybe middle of the day. I'm not sure why Edgar's in bed right now. I'm assuming that it's night. So, bad things are happening. Kefka's come back, and he did some nasty stuff. He set the stone Mechanical castle on fire. Just gonna let you guys soak that in for a second. So we're gonna talk to this guy, and we're gonna, make things right. We got this covered. Eggerd's gonna fight Kefka right now, and it will be the end of the story, and then we'll fight the Empire. Oh nope, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Kefka's doing clown things, setting stones on fire. So we're gonna move forward here, and then we're gonna beat a hasty retreat. Remember when I told you to remember that Egger is a master mechanic, a master of machinery? Yeah, he turned his castle into a submarine. So we're gonna go ahead and submerge under the sand, because that will take care of the fire for us. Everything makes perfect sense. We're just going to go with the fact that stone caught fire because Final Fantasy logic. So, yeah, Kefka's not too happy. He's going to go ahead and send these Magitech Robos after us, and we're going to have a little problem with them because what are we going to do? We only have Magic and Treasure Hunt. But luckily, we have Egger, and Egger can use tools, which is Auto Crossbow. And Auto Crossbow is going to be one of our major damage sources throughout this run. So we're just going to go ahead and use Auto Crossbow and Steel. But we don't want to use Magic here because that will actually cause an extra cutscene that's super long that we really don't want to deal with. So we're just going to go ahead and Auto Crossbow twice and take care of both of these Magitech armors. So, good old son of a submariner, Egger. He's going to pay for this, leaving Kefka out in the middle of the desert. So, back to the story here. We're going to go ahead and have a little talk with our girl Terra and say, yeah, we want you to meet our leader of the Returners, who is the head of the Resistance against the Empire. So, we're going to go ahead and move forward with that. So, we're going to go ahead and have to go to the town of South Figaro and then make it to the Returners headquarters, which shouldn't be a problem. No problems whatsoever. Everything's going smoothly. We got Chocobos, we got a treasure hunter, a king, and a magic caster. So everything is fine, right? So just go ahead and pass through this cave. So back to game mechanics. We are going to go ahead and fight all the encounters here so we can go ahead and catch up with some levels. Remember how I told you levels are very important? We're going to want Egger at 10, Locke at 9, and Terra at 8. So when our next character joins, that he will come in at a good level. So we're just going to go ahead and auto crossbow everything in this cave, which should make everything easy peasy. Blink, the seedings for the first round were random, but every round after that, if you won your first race, you will play against someone that won their first race. If you lost your first race, you will play against someone that lost your first race, and that will continue on for a little bit. Yeah, man, Magitech armors have some really good gas mileage. I mean, if we can burn stone, why can't Magitechs actually run faster than Chocobos with their chicken legs? So, Egger has Tool, which is his special attack. So, we can buy tools, we can find tools, and each one is very nice. But the only one we're going to be using for the sake of this run will be the auto crossbow, which has a good amount of damage that it can do, and even if you're in the back row, it does the same amount of damage, which makes it very, very good for our purposes. Also, we don't want to use magic in the cave because we will still get that magic cutscene about magic because Egger has never seen it before. Go figure. And we don't actually want that. So, we're going to go ahead and get through this cave and sure everything is okay here. We're on quadruple duty, and we're gonna walk a certain way to this town so we actually have those no encounter tiles as well, so we can go ahead and have the right encounters when we go through our next part. But before we do, we're gonna go ahead and pick up some sprint shoes here because when you equip the relic named sprint shoes to one of your characters, in certain maps and fields, you're going to run really fast. Look at Essentia go. Look at her go. She's faster than a Chocobo. So we're going to go ahead and pick up this Chocobo here. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is going to pick up his sprint shoes as well. And then we're going to take this over to Mount Colts, which will take us to the Returners headquarters. Yes, this will be on RPG Limit Break and other restreams, but I do not believe we're going to be on Speed Gaming. I'm not quite sure. So here's Mount Colts. We're going to want to avoid the first couple fights because our auto crossbow just isn't strong enough to kill the brawlers just yet. But we're going to make a quick detour to pick up a very handy relic named the Atlas Armlet. It will increase strength, so when we equip it to Edgar, we're going to be able to really do some real damage here. I'm not quite sure how he lost some time here, but we'll see if he can go ahead and catch up here. On his splits, he is actually a couple seconds behind on the exiting Narshe. So go ahead and pick up the Atlas Armament. But we still don't want to fight these brawlers, even though we can kill them with the auto crossbow. The auto crossbow will kill them in one volley, but unfortunately they don't give a lot of experience and or money, which we're going to be kind of short on because we're not going to fight a lot of fights. But with this, there are fights like this one with the Tusker and the Cypresses. So what we're going to want to do here is, remember that runaway meter we have? Yeah, Locke has a shorter runaway meter, and we're going to auto crossbow and fire, and then hope that Locke runs away from one of our manipulated encounters. That way we can actually get the levels that we need correctly. On Essentia's stream, she's actually doing well. So back attacks can take up quite a bit of time, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is where the time loss is. But we're gonna have to just hope and see if we can catch up to Essentia right now. She seems to be having some really good luck with encounters right now. So this will be another one of those Tusker Cypresses encounters. So we don't need Locke to run away this time, so we're just gonna auto crossbow and fire. So, going on to another point, remember that Mithril Pike that we took off Mog at the beginning of the game? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and equip that on Edgar when we have a chance and move his sword over to Locke for the next boss battle that we have. So, another encounter here, we're just going to go ahead and auto crossbow. Essentia getting an unfortunate pincer, so she can't auto crossbow both sides, so she's just going to auto crossbow one side and then attack and fire the other side. It will give Kidofseph a little chance to catch up. He's right on her tail right now, so it's looking really good for them. So another encounter that we could get here is actually these Trilliums, which is a bit annoying as well because they have the ability to poison us, and we don't want to see poison, so we want to kill them as fast as possible. Once we get to that magic number 10, 9, 8 with levels, we won't have to fight any more encounters if we do not need to. Like with these side attacks, we wouldn't really need to fight it, but we do need the experience for right now. So, another preemptive. Essentia is getting some really nice encounters. As you see here, she's actually running away from this one because she doesn't actually need the... She doesn't need the experience anymore. She actually hit the required levels. But in this case, because it's going to take longer to run away, she will go ahead and clean up this fight. That is referring to they get one shot in most cases. The Trilliums get one shot. The only thing that does not get one shot is the Tusker. we actually need to use auto crossbow and fire on him. So Essentia's coming up to our boss fight, which is our good friend Vargas. She's going to go ahead and heal up just to make sure, because Vargas can do a nice amount of damage as well. So he's going to come with our friendly Ipoos, our apple Ipoos. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to change rows with Locke when we get a chance, and we're going to Essentia's actually going to go ahead and do her equipment change here, and then we're going to auto crossbow, and that will kill one Ipoo, and then we're going to cast fire again to kill the other Ipoo. Then at said point after that, we will just auto crossbow, attack, and fire to go ahead and finish off the fight. No, he does not come with apple brand poo, but he does come with apple brand honey. So we're going to go ahead and finish up the fight. It looks like Essentia's going to get through it pretty well. Looking good. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is coming up to it now. So he's going to go ahead and do the same thing that I explained earlier. So, extra little cutscene here. Here comes our favorite twin brother, Sabin. Sabin's going to come in, do some damage to Vargas, because Vargas and Sabin train together. So Sabin is an interesting character, as my favorite character, but his command is known as Blitz. So if you use the Blitz command and put in a specified set of motions or buttons, he will actually use a special Blitz attack. In this case, we're going to want to go ahead and use left, right, left, A, which will use Pummel. Yes, they are twins. So Pummel will go ahead and finish off the fight here, and everything is looking good. So there are a couple funny things about Sabin as well. So if you actually press down and A too quickly when going to the Blitz command, the down will actually register in your Blitz command, and you will fail Blitz commands because you did not put in a very perfect order of commands, which could be left, right, left, A, I believe is X, Y, down, up, A, which is very important for later, and down, down, left, A. So both these racers are very good, so they're not going to put in any wrong commands here. They won't use Aura Bolt by accident, cough, cough. So we dispatch Vargas, Sabin's going to join us, and we're going to move on to the Returners' headquarters. Yeah, so we're still on our way to get down to the Returners' headquarters, so T can meet their leader, and we can figure out exactly what we need to do. Essentia making an extra step to the right here to get extra no encounter tiles. So it's looking good. She shouldn't get any more encounters. Oh, okay, so she had a couple of wrong steps, so she's going to get one extra encounter before getting to the Returners' hideout. I'm not going to speculate why we actually have Kefka being the stopping point. It seems like a good stopping point, but I believe it was something that the community did because the actual full run of Final Fantasy VI is a little bit long. So we have a category for beginning runners to RPGs, which I highly recommend actually playing Kefka at Narshe. The run is typically an hour and a half. Really good runners like Essentia and Kidofseph actually have sub-hour times, or sub-hour and a half times. So we do have a couple of categories for RPGs for Super Nintendo that are rather shorter. We have the Fight Magus and Chrono Trigger, the Paladin percent for Final Fantasy IV. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe we have one for Mario RPG as well, which is really nice. So these are shorter categories, so we don't, because not everyone has all the time in the world to play uh, Final Fantasy through its entirety, which is a very long run. So it's a good beginner friendly run if you actually want to learn the entire run. So moving on with the story here, we're gonna meet with Bannon. Bannon's gonna spout out some stuff about hope and whatnot, and we're gonna generally ignore him. But while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and pick up some items. We're gonna pick up 2 Phoenix Downs, a True Knight relic. We're gonna pick up an Air Lancet, and we're gonna pick up an Antidote. These things are gonna be very important for later on in the run. Essentia is gonna pick up the optional Tincture as well. Yes, there is also Midgar Escape. There is also Link's Percent. There are plenty of shorter categories for RPGs. But moving on with some other tech here, we're gonna go ahead and talk to Bannon 3 times after doing everything inside, and we're gonna say no to him 3 times because he's gonna give us a very powerful relic in Genji Glove, which will allow us to equip 2 weapons, which is going to increase Edgar's damage by quite a bit. So these runners are actually very close to each other right now. I would say they're probably within 20 or 30 seconds of each other. So we have a very close race. I hope everyone is very excited. I know I am. So we're going to want to pick up this Genji Glove because it's kind of glitched a little bit in a good way where we actually do extra damage opposed to if we said yes to Bannon and picked up the Gauntlet. It doesn't do extra damage, and we get an extra long cutscene that no one needs to really see unless you're playing the game casually. But we're speedrunners, so we're racing and we're trying to get through this as fast as possible. So this cutscene being that the Empire is catching up with us, where they're going after the town of Figaro, so Locke's going to go and slow them down, and we're going to escape in the river to get over to Narshe to go talk to that Esper again. But before we do that, we're going to go do some equipment here. We're going to put the Genji Glove on Edgar. We're going to go ahead and equip the Sprint Shoes to Sabin, and then we're going to reset so we can do River Manip. So the river is an interesting place. If we don't do this, we could get a few extra encounters we're not really interested in getting. But with this, and a little help from our NPC friend as an indicator, we will get the only 2 fights that we really want to fight on the river. So, looking good. Here. Give me 1 second, fellas, while while Essentia is running through the river. I have some administrative duties I need to handle. All right, so the river. So what we're going to do here as well is we're going to go ahead and fight the second fight here, so Edgar can go ahead and get to level 11, which will increase his damage by quite a bit. Excuse my clickety-clackety keyboard. So we're going to get to level 11, and Essentia's not going to have any additional fights here because she did the River Manip, and Kidofseph will do that as well. So here we come to everyone's favorite octopus, Ultros. So this fight is very similar to the Whelk fight. So what we're going to want to do is trigger a counterattack out of him so it overrides his regular attack, because Ultros can be very, very problematic if he's allowed to do whatever he wants. So what we're going to do here is we're going to attack with Egger, we're going to Aura Bolt with Sabin, then we're going to attack with Egger again, and then cast Fire during the wait. So we're going to wait trick it, and then we're going to trigger his counterattack, and then we're going to wait trick the Aura Bolt as well. For those who don't know, when I say wait trick, we enter the menu and it freezes the ATB of the boss and our characters alike. So after which, we will be attacking and casting Aura Bolt until Ultros is dead, or defeated in this case. So it's looking good for Essentia right now. And she gets through A-OK. Kidofseph is right on her tail right now. Let's see if he can go ahead and get a really good fight. So, once again, it's going to be attack with Egger, Aura Bolt with Sabin. Wait for Egger to get back his ATB. Oh, no. We're going to fire early here. I don't think he's going to get the quick kill off of him with that. He needed to go ahead and attack with Egger one more time and then fire. Yeah, so see, he's going to get an extra attack on here, and it's going to do a lot of damage to poor Terra. And down she goes. But he should still be good. He will be able to do a lot of damage. Luckily, Bannon, luckily, he can actually heal the party. So I didn't go over the Bannon mechanic. So if Bannon dies, because Bannon is a very weak and unfortunate character, you will just automatically game over. So we actually need him to not die. But back on Essential Stream, she got through, and she's going to pick up Shadow here. We don't rename Shadow due to his few amount of text boxes, so it saves more time not to actually name him. It looks like Essentia is a little bit off her step route right now, but she should be okay. Meanwhile, on Kidofseph's fight with Ultros, looking good, and he gets through. A little hairy, but it's all right. So, at this point in the game, there are 3 scenarios we need to do. Locke is separated from the party, Sabin is separated from the party, and Terra is on their way to Narshe. So we're going to go ahead and do Sabin's scenario first, because there's a lot of nice items we can pick up that will help with the other 2 scenarios. So we're going to go ahead and go through this Imperial camp right here. And through Sabin's scenario, we're going to pick up a couple of extra characters. Shadow won't be with us permanently, but the other 2 will go to fairly shortly. Ooh. Meanwhile, on Kidofseph's audio here, we're getting a nice Shadow theme right here. It's one of the better songs in the game. If you like good music, you should definitely listen to a lot of the Final Fantasy VI music. It has some of the better video game music, in my opinion, and some really good RPG music as well. So Essentia is coming up to our next character, our good friend Cyan. Mr. Mustache Man, as some of them know him as. So he's an interesting character as well. Shadow wears black not because it hides him very well, even though that it was a different time. There was a lot more darkness out there. I don't know. So Essentia's going to go ahead and equip the sprint shoes to Cyan and go ahead and change the battle speed to 1, because Cyan has a special ability called the Sword Tech. So she's going to go ahead and use it. So while the sword tech is up, the ATB still moves, and she's going to use number 2 sword tech, which is retort, which is a counterattack that will one-shot the leader. So go ahead and knock out the leader, and then easy peasy lemon squeezy, we're going to go ahead and go back to the camp here. So we're going to go ahead and listen in on some more cutscenes, and then move on. I see in the chat we have some deep lore going on in there. Feel free to discuss. I encourage everyone to learn as much about this game as possible. It is a super interesting game. So here we have General Leo saying you shouldn't throw your life away, us saying that he would be a really great friend, and everything would be handy dandy if it wasn't for the fact that Kefka was around. So at this point, Kefka's up to no good, and our boys are going to go ahead and try and stop him from pouring poison into the river and knocking out, killing everyone at Doma. So, for this point, because we're back on Battle Speed 1, it doesn't really matter to switch it back. Some people will switch it before, and some people will switch it after. But because Kefka is technically part of our party, he uses our party ATB, switching it now doesn't really matter. We just need to get the attack in as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and chase Kefka twice here. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is going to knock out his leader. He is still super close. And we're going to go ahead and attack him again. Yep. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and switch some stuff around. So we picked up Shadow for safety, but he also has some really good equipment that we're going to want to go ahead and transfer over to Sabin. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and do some equipment. Yep, we're going to switch it back down to 6 to slow down all the enemies. Going to do some equipment swapping here. And we're going to move Sabin to the front row. Very good. And then we're going to go ahead and fight 2 grunts, and I believe it's 2 Templars. Yes. So we're going to attack the soldiers, and then we're going to use special abilities on the Templars. So remember that air lancet that we picked up back at the Returner's base? Yeah, Shadow has a handy-dandy ability called Air Lancet. Or, not Air Lancet. He's going to throw the Air Lancet. He has Throw, which will throw the weapon and do a mass amount of damage. So, we're going to go ahead and do that. And we would want to go ahead and use... Ooh, messed up the Blitz input. But there... we're going to go ahead and use Pummel here. But, ideally, we would have used Air Lancet, Pummel, and not have to do any extra damage, and that would have finished up the fight. But meanwhile, unfortunately, Kefka is going to go ahead and make some, as we currently affectionately call it, some grape juice, grape drink, or purple drink. So who here likes purple drink? You know, it was in a commercial for Sunny D, but if anyone is out there, I recommend if you see a river and it's purple, you shouldn't drink the purple drink because it's probably poison, as everyone from Doma is currently learning. It doesn't affect Cyan because maybe he wasn't drinking the purple drink. As you see that the rivers actually gradually turn poison. If you note, he's actually at the top of the castle trying to keep track of things, so he doesn't really have an easy way to get down to the purple drink. I personally don't think that anyone should drink purple drink if it comes from a river, but that's up to you guys. Cyan does love his Sunny D. So, unfortunately, everyone else was drinking the purple drink, and they're all on their way to Rapture, so the king is going to go. Kidofseph actually getting a nice counterattack on the Templar on his side, which is also an option. So he didn't actually have to throw the air lance in, which is very good. And just so everyone remembers, purple drank and grape drank is not the same thing. So, unfortunately, Cyan's wife and child, his son, actually drank the water as well, the poisonous water. So, they're part of the dearly departed, which will send Cyan into a mad rage. And when you're in a mad rage, you're going to go and lash out at everyone, which I don't recommend. But he's going to go and try and take some vengeance against the Imperial camp here. But luckily, we have Sabin and Shadow here, who will be more than glad to help him out. So, at this point, we don't actually have control of Cyan, so what we're looking for is for him to do regular attacks and not use his level 1 sword tech, which is Dispatch. And it looks like Essentia accidentally, because of the memory cursor, used Blitz by accident. So she's going to have a little bit of a longer fight here. So still cleaned up pretty well. Not every nation that is against the Empire has a river next to them. That is why. So we're going to go ahead and clean up these grunts right here. We just need to attack them. Easy peasy. Very nice. So on our third fight, we're going to have a little bit of a different fight. So there's going to be 2 grunts and a cadet, which... just as a note, if you run in between them, you get knocked back, so I don't recommend it. So, Shadow is going to attack. We're going to want Cyan to attack the Grunt. Very good. And then Sabin can go ahead and use Aura Bolt that will one-shot the Cadet. Because we don't have control of Cyan, things can go kind of weird, and we have to make some audible calls to what we actually have to do to finish off that fight. So... at this point, Cyan's calmed down a little bit. We gotta get the heck out of here. So we're gonna jump in some magic decking. We're gonna peace out real quick, but we're gonna have to fight some people on the way out. Luckily, magic tech is really strong, so all we're gonna have to do is firebolt everyone. Firebolt or fire beam? I believe it's fire beam. So. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is on his grunt fights. He's still hot on Essentia's heels right now. So we're going to fire beam the Magic Tech armor, and while we have a chance, she's going to go ahead and do some inventory management. Meanwhile, she's also defending to take those menus down. It saves a couple of frames for the end of the fight. So here we're just going to fire beam everything. Looks good. Kidofseph getting a dispatch on one of the grunts. Not what you want to see, but no control over that. That's all RNG. Oh, the bolt beam. Good tech. I approve of the bolt beam. Looking good right now on Kidofseph's side. Meanwhile, Essentia is cleaning up the Magic Tech armors. Give me 1 second here. We're looking good still. Yep. And Essentia's on her way out of the camp. So, everything is looking good. So, we need to get out of here because the Imperials are after us. So we're going to want to go ahead and head down to this forest because they won't follow us into the spooky forest. Just for everyone paying, that's out there. Spooky alert. Essentially getting a very unfortunate back attack here. These ghosts, this area in general with ghost and everything is actually kind of scary because these guys do some very nasty attacks. Some that slow, some that do quite a bit of damage, like fire, some that stop you. And when you're stopped, you can't run, and when you're slow, you can't run as fast. So remember, we need a full ATB bar to get away, so it's looking pretty good here. What we don't want to see are pincer attacks. Those are no good. No good, but it's looking like she's going to be able to get through here pretty well. Good preemptive. She's going to be able to get out of that fight really good. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is finishing up his gauntlet in the Imperial camp. And, oh, look at this. We found a train. We'll be able to jump on this train, get right out here. Everything is going to be great. So Sabin says, yo, they're after us. Let's get on the train. It looks kind of dilapidated, but we'll be okay, right? Well, when you're in a place called the Phantom Forest, you can only assume that there is a thing called the Phantom Train. So the Phantom Train is an interesting place because its job is to take people to the other side. And well, Sabin, he has stuff to do on the same side, so they're going to go ahead and try and stop the train here. Well, as you see here on Essentia's screen, unfortunately, because we're on a step route, we don't want to walk around the ghosts, so they can be a bit obnoxious. But some of these encounters can be pretty nasty, so what we're going to do in this next one is we're going to walk by everything possible, looking good for these encounters. She's actually walking around them, these for right now, because she wants to force an encounter in this train car, because the encounters on the outside could be very nasty. You're going to get these bomb enemies, and bombs can do quite a bit of damage very quickly, so we don't want to see a lot of those. So, looking good right now. Yep, so she's in this street ghost battle, and she's just going to want to run away without any real amount of fire. As you see, one enemy doing 74 damage with one fire. So, fun note about Cyan, where Locke's run away, his invisible gauge to run away is short. Cyan's is actually very long, and on Kidofseph's side, he's actually got a pincer attack, which can be very nasty. But what he's gonna handle this very well. He's gonna go ahead and throw a potion on the ghost, because undead enemies in this game do not like Phoenix Downs, and they do not like potions, which will do damage to them. So he's gonna throw a potion on them, and then he's gonna get away very quickly. Very good. Meanwhile, our good old friend Sabin over here at the top of the train car is going to say it's time to see if all his training paid off, and he's going to do a little bit of Naruto running off the top of these train cars. So makes the first jump, hits the second jump, and sticks the landing. Everything's perfect. By the way, they're still chasing you. So we're going to go ahead and detach the train cars, because the button is right there. It's very nice. Kidofseph getting over to the Phantom Train. Got to go ahead and get to the front of the train to keep himself out. Mind you, that same switch opens the door for you. All-purpose switch. We love it. Yes, there is no escape. There is no hiding. So, here, funny story about Sabin's actual abilities. His blitzes aren't actually physical attacks. They are actually magic-based attacks. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick up a very handy relic. And it's called the Earring, that will increase magic damage. That will be very helpful later on in the run. Meanwhile, Kidofseph getting to his no escape part of the run, while Essentia is running forward there. Once again, look, if you see there, the ghosts do quite a bit of damage, and Cyan takes forever to run away. Essentia is not running into any of these inside tracks or inside train cars either, because that's a bit slower. We're just going to go ahead and run around the outside. So, Essentia's at the front of the train. She's going to hit these two switches, and the switch at the front will go ahead and shut off the train, and everything will be good. So you thought. By the way, the train, also undead, and he's not approving that you're trying to slow down his progress. So, oh, Kidofseph sticking the landing as well. Essentia is going to treat us to something very nice. Oh no. Going to... Evil Toot is a very nasty attack, unfortunately. So she's not going to be able to validate her run. Validation is completely optional, but Evil Toot is an attack that does a random effect on our party, and she ended up getting the Berserk Confuse. But luckily, Shadow knocked Sabin out of it, and we could go ahead and throw a Phoenix down and kill off the Phantom Train. I will count that suplex as an attempt and a successful validation. Just me personally. You guys can have your own opinions. If you think that the Scion suplex is a validation, let me go ahead and give me some numbers out there. Show me some buttons, give me some numbers, show me your approval. So we went ahead and got ourselves out of the sticky situation of the Phantom Train going ahead and knocking us out, or trying to take us to the other side. Glad everyone is happy with the validation of the Scion suplex. Meanwhile, our Kidofseph is making his way to the front. So unfortunately, the Phantom Train has a job to do as well. And he's going to go ahead and take Sion's wife and son away. Yeah. If we have anyone to blame for the Sion suplex, it's the Phantom Train. We don't want to see Evil Toots. We don't want to see them at all. We're going to go ahead and see if Kidofseph is going to go ahead and do the suplex as well. Alright, let me see your hype if we get a suplex on the train here. No suplex from Kidofseph, but he's actually a little behind, and this is a race, so he's trying to catch up, so I understand. So during the cutscene here where Sion is mourning his family's passing, we're going to go ahead and do some equipment manipulation, and we're going to go ahead and do some item inventory management. So we're going to go ahead and equip the True Knight to Sabin and the earring to increase his magic, and then we're going to go ahead and do some inventory management so we are all set up for the rest of the game. So Essentia's going to walk around. She should get no encounters. Oh, no, she's off her step route a little bit, so she's going to get an encounter before, but luckily it's a preemptive. Kidofseph getting through the Phantom Train very well here. Very good. Meanwhile, I'm going to repeat this to you guys. They are very close to each other. I'm going to wager a good 30 or 40 seconds away from each other. So, as we come to the falls here for Essentia, we're going to go ahead and set up for these boss fights. But by setup, I mean we're not going to fight the boss at all. So, luckily, we get a full heal here because Essentia's Scion is down, but we're going to do a nice little glitch that causes Scion to go a little crazy. So, when Scion is actually killed and brought back to life and he uses retort, things go kind of silly. So, he starts counterattacking everything. Everything being enemy attacks and your attacks. So, a funny thing about the waterfall fight is we're supposed to be fighting these piranhas, and at a certain point after killing so many piranhas or so much time has passed, we get a boss piranha. But we're going to go ahead and skip that. We are going to do something which is pretty neat. We're going to go ahead and do physical damage and magical damage at the same time to the piranha, which will skip the boss actually coming out. And previously I said retort is magical damage. I apologize. It's actually suplex that is magical damage and retort that is physical damage. And doing both of this boss at the same time will skip the boss fish from coming out. So we're going to cast suplex, and because Scion is glitched, he's going to do retort, which will kill the fish and skip the boss from coming out. we're going to find ourselves on the Veldt, so we're one step closer to getting to Narshe. Here comes everyone's favorite wild child, Gao. Gao is going to see us. He's going to say, hey, listen, we're going to need to... I want to try and help you out a little bit. So he's going to be our next party member. And when we pick him up, it's going to be a little fun explanation about how he actually works. But while we have a chance, let's watch Kidofseph do the Cyan glitch and see if he can go ahead and skip this boss. So... for this fight, the reason why we equipped the True Knight relic, I don't believe I went over that, is when one of your party members is in critical HP, the True Knight will let you cover them and that person will take the damage instead of the person who is in critical. So we're going to want to try and make sure that the Piranha doesn't actually hit Cyan while he's in critical HP. So one of those safety features of this. So Essentia is now currently on the Veldt. So on the Veldt, we actually fight everything that we have fought in the game. A lot of enemies that we fought are available on the Veldt. So if you remember these Lobos and guards at the beginning of the game, well, they're back. So we're going to go ahead and dispatch them really quick. By dispatch, I mean not use sword death. And we will move towards the town to pick up our dried meat so we can pick up our man Gao. So Essentia is going to go ahead and pick up this dried meat. So Gao is an interesting character when we first want to pick him up because he randomly shows up in certain fights. So like pincer battles, he won't show up. Certain enemy formations, he won't show up. But with the step routing, we actually going to get the next encounter, which should be one ghost or a single enemy. And, oh yes, that's right. Essentia is a little off, so she's going to get these grass hoppers. So, they're a bit annoying because they can berserk our party members. And if they berserk our party members and Gao shows up, we don't have a chance to use the dry meat. So, we don't really want that encounter. The 3 ghost encounter is a little bit more manageable. So, we're going to go ahead and do that. But Gao has a random chance of showing up. So, we're going to want to take some encounters here. Kidofseph's looking like he's on the right step route right now, so we will see if Gao shows up for him. But if we're lucky on Essential, Gao shows up. First try every time. So we're going to want to go ahead and use this dry meat on him and then trigger the very long cutscene of Gao talking about Shiny and I'm going to help you out. I enjoy the fact that you fed me, so on and so forth. As far as I can tell you, yes, Sand Slice, that we only need half the Psycho Cyan glitch. So, Gao's going to say, I have the shiny I want to share with you, and we're going to go ahead and check that out as well. But Gao's an interesting character because he doesn't have a fight command. He has Rage command, which is him using enemy attacks. So he can leap into enemies in the Veldt and use their attacks. But unfortunately, it puts him in a berserk state. So he will use enemy attacks, but we don't really get to control what attacks he uses from those enemies. And he only has leap while he's on the Veldt. So he's a very interesting character, a very unique approach to how a character should fight. Kidofseph getting the single ghost here and getting Gao on first try. First try every time. Meanwhile, on Essentia's stream, we're going to go ahead and get ready. I hope you guys like Kappas because here comes the real Kappa. Let me see your Kappas in the chat. Everyone loves Kappa, right? This is Twitch. So we're just going to go through this small tutorial of how Gao's mechanics actually work. So, at this point, Gao is telling us to go ahead and go down to Crescent Mountain so he can share his shiny with us, which we appreciate because Gao's a good kid. I mean, if you notice, he came in at level 11, this good old routing. So, ooh, this is a really fun race right now. They are still really close to each other. I hope everyone's excited out there. And I hope everyone's excited for more Kappa, because Kidofseph is going to come in with some more Kappas right now. So Gao's shiny is actually a helmet that lets you breathe underwater. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can use this to get to the next town so we can get over to Narshe. So the Serpent Trench is a very interesting place as well, because the Serpent Trench, regardless of what we do for the encounters as far as I remember, is that we will get 4 encounters with the way we have it routed out right now. So we're going to take 2 encounters, we're going to take an encounter, go to the right, because we have a fork in the road and we have the option of going to the right or the left. We're going to go to the right to go through a cave and save an encounter. We'll get a second encounter, go through the cave, and then we're going to come back out on the Serpent Trench. At that point, we will be going to the left and then get 2 more encounters, and then we will end up at the town. But with the Serpent Trench is a little treacherous because we do not want to see certain encounters. So let's go ahead and see if Essentia gets it. I don't want to throw out a caster curse, but she gets the good encounter for this one. So we could get an Aqua form with the first one that uses a nasty attack called Aqua Rake that could actually wipe our party, but we didn't see it, so we don't have to worry about it. Meanwhile, on Kidofseph's side, he's going to go ahead and get through his cutscene with Gao and pick up his underwater helmet. Yes, we don't want them to use a lot of attacks on us. Numb Spines will actually stop our party members. A lot of things could happen here, but it's looking pretty good right now. We just got to make sure that everyone runs away. Cyan being in, not critical, but low HP is actually kind of helpful because he can actually take forever to run away. So if he actually gets stopped, we're actually going to hope that he takes a dirt nap. So here we go. 2 encounters down, 2 more to go. Essentially going to make that left turn. She's going to get her next encounter. It is not a pincer, so she's just going to run away from this one as well. Very good. 1 more encounter, which should be 2 Aqua forms, and we should be good. Or Angua forms, excuse me. Yep, looking good, and she's going to get to this town. So, in this town, we have a couple of options. Some runners would like to go ahead and pick up the extra mithril pikes, but the thing we really want to pick up are these smoke bombs, which guarantee us an escape from encounters. So, no pincers, no nothing like that. As long as we use the smoke bombs, we will escape. Kidofseph actually getting the Angua form fight, but luckily he got the Aura Bolt off, which should kill him really quickly, and there will be no Aqua Raid today. Essentia picking up her smoke bombs, which will be used for the rest of the run, and we should be good. And she will go ahead and finish up her saving scenario. So, our next scenario will be the Locke scenario. So his scenario is actually pretty neat. We're going to be going through and doing a lot of things here. We're going to go ahead and steal some clothes. We're going to make sure we can get out of South Figaro okay. We're going to save some people. Everything will be great. So we're going to go ahead and equip up. We're going to move Locke down one space and equip the sprint shoes. So here we go. I hope everyone's nice and comfy. Essentia, where are you going? Essentia, where are you going? Just joking. We're going to go ahead and clip through this guy and get out of here because that's fast. No saving people, no stealing clothes. We're just going to move on with our lives here. So, on Kidofsep's side, he actually got a kind of nasty back attack here where the aspects can actually use a very nasty attack that can kill our party members, but he managed to get out of there okay. So, as you see here, this Locke is by himself, so we're going to want to smoke bomb out of as many of these fights as possible if we don't get preemptives or side attacks. So, these enemies can use some very nasty poison attacks or high damage attacks, so we don't want to mess with these things at all. So, because we have Locke by himself, we're going to go ahead and pick up this Thunder Rod right here, which will help us with Tunnel Armor, which is the next fight that we have. Locke by himself would not be able to really fight Tunnel Armor, but with the Thunder Rod, with its special interactions of being used as an item, we'll be able to take care of the Tunnel Armor very nicely. So, it will actually cast the spell Thundaga when it's used, but as an additional effect, it will actually ignore magic defense as well. So, don't blink. Tunnel Armor will come up and Tunnel Armor will go down. Meanwhile, Kidofseph is actually starting up his Locke scenario. So, and just disregard the fact that someone is talking to Locke. No one's talking to Locke. It's all the voices in his head. There's no one else there. So, Essentia cleans up that scenario quick, and then we're going to go ahead and finish up the Terra scenario. So, remember how I told you that Bannon, if he takes a dirt nap, it's game over automatically? Yeah, that rule is still in effect. So, those smoke bombs that we picked up are going to be very, very helpful. So, I'm going to go ahead and ride the rest of this raft all the way to Narshe. Locke being moved into the second position is to prevent, I believe, the bear from gouging Locke and insta-killing him. So, that is why we move Locke into the second position. Ideally, we won't actually get a chance to see any of the bears use any attacks. So, but we get funny attacks like this. Hopefully, we have enough time to get that smoke bomb off before the gold bear actually uses an attack. Kidofseph is actually, he managed to get through with it. Very good. And he will go ahead and try and finish up the Locke scenario now. Smoke bombs are very helpful with pincer attacks as well because it doesn't actually stop us from running away from those fights. So, had we not had the smoke bombs, we would have been in some very serious trouble. Now, this is the reason why we do this, the Sabin scenario first. So, on Essentia's side, we're going to go ahead and try and sneak our way back into to Narshe, but there's a security field here, so we're going to go ahead and follow the light, but we're really bad at following instructions. So if we move in a very specific way and then press A and hold A while we move, we don't have to worry about the encounter it would give us, and we're just going to go ahead and move on from that. Meanwhile, smoke bombs away. And I believe Essentia skipped buying the extra mithril pike, so she's going to go ahead and pick up the rune blade for some supplement damage against Kefka in the upcoming finale of our run here. By going into the Moogle cave as well, I believe she skips 2 encounters as well, as she is on step route. So she's going to pick up some extra damage, which will be for Egger, and skip some encounters on the way to the end of the scenario. So, meanwhile, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out here real quick. You guys should definitely follow both of these runners, EssentiaFour and Kidofseph. So, if these guys are great runners, they have great times in this category. So, go ahead and throw them a follow while we go ahead and finish up this Terra scenario for Essentia, and we're in the middle of the Terra scenario for Kidofseph. This has been a great race so far. Kidofseph is still hot on her tail. So depending on how Kefka decides to act, because he can be a little finicky of a fight, it's still anyone's race right now. So you see Kidofseph actually switching to the mithril pike. So he is not electing to pick up the rune edge from what I can tell right now, or the rune blade. So here we have the finale of the fight, of the scenarios. We have all converged and everyone has found their way back to Narshe, and Narshe is still the independent nation that they are. They're very neutral in the war, but the Empire is coming to try and take that Esper, which is a bit of a problem. So they've done some really nasty things. Here comes Cyan to explain his story. Gao is still hanging around, and we're going to have to go ahead and fend them off. Here we go on Kidofseph's side. He's going to go ahead and skip the rune edge, so he's not going to walk through, but he will pick up a couple of extra encounters, I believe. Pretty unfortunate back attack here is not going to save him any time. So, well, Essentia mashes through here and Kidofseph is finishing up. I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and go and follow their streams. Is twitch.tv at EssentiaFour and twitch.tv Kidofseph. Both their links are in the channel right now. So Kefka's marching up to Narshe saying, "Yo, I want that Esper." Narshe is like, "Well, we're going to have to defend this because it could lead to some very bad things. So we're going to go ahead and march up to the mountain." So our party is going to move up there. We're going to have some interesting conversations. And for anyone that's confused, Kutan is supposed to be there because we didn't actually pick up Celis. So all our party members are initialized in the memory as the Moogles from the beginning of the game. But because we didn't pick up or trigger renaming Celis, it just remembers it and tries to pull it from Kutan. So General Kutan is on the job. So also, if you remember from the beginning of the game, we had to defend said character. We're going to do that again. We have to defend Bannon, but we're going to handle this the same way. We're going to make our party here that can fight Kefka, and we're going to go ahead and just fight Kefka while walking past these guards. Just as a reminder, walking past these guards without triggering them is relatively easy. It's when they move forward with their foot up, you can actually walk past them without triggering their encounter. So we're at the finale here, so I hope everyone's excited. So we're gonna just move into positions here. It's not an easy trick, but with some good timing, we're able to get through. So here we go. Essentia is going to get through all right, and then we just need to get past this last guard right here. We're going to wait and then get down to Kefka and get ready to fight him. So Kefka is a bit of a hazardous fight if he manages to get his third round of attacks off, where he can cast Ice too. But what we're going to do here is we're going to Weight Trick Aura Bolt once or twice, depending on how fast he attacks here, and hopefully just take care of him easy peasy. So we're coming up on time for Essentia right now, and as soon as we get that, I will give you the official SRL time. So Essentia has not done. And Essentia has finished with a time of 1:26.50, improving her personal best by 31 seconds. So let's get some GGs in the chat for Essentia. So it looks like she improved her personal best overall, and we will see if we can go ahead and get her in for a post-race interview. So let's get some GGs in there. New PB for Essentia, yes. Go ahead and sit there. So let's not forget our boy Kidofseph. Let's get some excitement for him as he finishes up his race. He will be setting up for his final Kefka race. We're going to go ahead and bring in Essentia as soon as she gets a chance here. Hello. Oh. Might be having a few technical difficulties here. We do not hear you, Essentia. Oh.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Welcome. Congratulations on your race. Ooh, that was...
Thank you.
That was a little rough going there for a little bit, but you managed to pull out a very, very good time of 1:26.57. Congratulations on your new PB.
Well, thank you so much.
So, first question, how are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm actually pretty shaky, but that's because I skipped lunch, and so I think it's because of that, and I think that's why I was making so many movement errors and stuff, but it worked out.
Yes, I saw you golded your last splits with I'm guessing it was a very narrow gold. I can't really tell from your splits here.
Well, actually, I'm not sure it's a real gold because I split late on my previous split, so it might not have actually been gold.
Oh, okay. So, but congratulations, you're going 1-0 in the tournament right now. Just for everyone's information, this will not be the end of Kidofseph. He'll just be moving down to the 0-1 bracket, while Essentia will be moving on to the 1-0 bracket. So we will see much more of both of these runners right now. So my next question is going to be, what do you think that you can improve on your run? You think you're going to be able to cut down your time even more during? Oh no, Kidofseph caught the ice too.
Oh no, he did.
Oh no.
Oh, that's awful.
That's a rip run right there. Oh no.
Oh, did he save?
I don't believe he safety saved.
Oh no.
Oh nope, he did safety save. There.
Oh, good.
Oh, all right. I did not get to see him safety save because we were setting up and watching the end of your run, so he's gonna get another shot at this. But so
Oh, that's good.
So what do you think that you can improve? Are you going to be able to cut down from the 126 even lower?
I probably can improve that because I know this was far from perfect. Maybe if I play when I'm not so shaky, maybe I won't make so many movement errors. I always seem to mess up the step route at some point.
As we all do. I know I just started this myself, and the step routing can be kind of weird, especially when you get the sprint shoes. So
yeah.
The next question is: do you believe with the new tech that we actually started using, or at least me personally, along with Couch and some other runners, have been using the extra mithril pike from when you go to Nakia and skipping the rune edge? Do you think that's faster? Did you know about that tech, or did you just?
I didn't know about that.
Oh, okay.
So do you buy one at Nakia?
Yeah, it's 800.
Okay.
We use that instead of the rune edge, but we do take an additional 2 encounters when we're walking in through Terra scenario. So, some neat tech. Kidofseph still has poor Egger in the back row there.
Oh no.
So we'll see if we can go ahead and get through this. But what a race! He was actually really close to you the entire race.
Yeah, I had no idea how close it was. I wasn't watching because I didn't want to be distracted.
Right. So he was actually within, I would want to say, 20 to 30 seconds to you the entire race.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a very close race. It was very exciting. So.
Wow. Well, that's cool. I'm so glad that so many people are getting into this and starting to speedrun FF6 more. It's one of my favorite games. One of the first games that I ever speedrun.
Yes. I had not unfortunate, but the joy of starting with FF4 during the Paladin percent. So Kidofseph getting through, and his time is a 1:32:38. So let's get some GGs in there for a kid. So let's see if he would like to come in for a post-race interview. So, just to remind everyone, this is the Kefka at Narshe tournament. We will be going on from now for the next, I believe, at least 2 months for races. So this will not be the end of these guys. You will definitely see them again. You should definitely follow them. Definitely. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right now. So you can follow Essentia at twitch.tv EssentiaFour, and Kidofseph at twitch.tv Kidofseph, Seph. So Kidofseph is joining us. Kidofseph, how are you doing?
Fighting a migraine right now.
Oh, that's awful.
I'm very sorry to hear that, but I see we managed to muscle through. You got that safety save in there. So first question that we always ask, how are you feeling right now? Minus the migraine.
It was a lot of fun. This was my first ever race in an actual tournament, so nerves started to get the best of me, about 5 minutes in. But they ended up settling down a little bit.
Okay, that's very good. just for information, you were actually very close to Essentia throughout the entire race. It was a very close race up until the end. So, very good job on your end. Very good job to both our runners here. So,
that's actually really good to hear because you know I've really only been running glitchless for a little bit, and you know I picked this. I picked up this route, and a lot of it's the same, but there you know a few different pieces here and there.
right. I saw you went with the mithril pipe instead of getting the rune edge, which is one of the newer things that we started doing. Or at least as far as I know, because I picked up this game for the tournament as well. So it's nice to see that.
I wanted to go with the mithril pike. I wanted to save some time to see it. You know, I needed all the time I could get at that point. So
Right. So it's good to see that people are adopting some new tech and that the run is actually expanding. So to my racers, do you have anything you want to impart to our viewers before we send them off to some wonderful place?
if you're looking for something to speed run, Kefka at Narshe is really easy to pick up. I highly suggest it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, and I think FF6 is a really fun game to run too. So it's not that hard to learn, and once you start, maybe you'll want to go and do the whole game too.
All right, that's great. So for everyone that's out there, this is the Kefka at Narshe tournament. You guys can see a lot more. You guys should go ahead and let's see if I have it here. I do. So here is our schedule in the chat right now. It's a bit long. So I believe our next race is going to be Christopher Warkin versus Lynn at 5 o'clock tomorrow on RPG Limit Break. So if you want to catch more Kefka at Narshe tournament action, I highly recommend that you guys tune in tomorrow. Let's see if we have a good raid target here. So we have Tina Hacks that is racing right now. So let's, or not racing, but she is doing runs right now. So we are going to go ahead and head over there. My name is Scratch Dragon. This was EssentiaFour and Kidofseph. And everyone have a good night.